Everyone is well aware of the killing that took place in Staten Island, New York with Eric Gardner. And anybody who's watched my videos know that I'm one of the harshest critics of black people. And I say some things and I'll back up and defend, and that's just where I stand with it. Regardless of who likes it or who dislikes it, I stand behind my position. But taking a look at this situation here, my heart weighs in heavy for this brother. And this is an unfortunate situation that has taken place, and what we have is a situation of incompetence. Incompetence on the behalf of the NYPD. And what I'm seeing here in this scenario is that you have cops that don't know what the fuck they're doing. Could it have been a matter of racism? I'm not sure, so I'm not going to tie it in with that. I'm just going to simply say you have stupid asses that don't know what they're doing, but maybe again you might be able to tie it in with a bit of racism, but I mean, once again, I can't make a strong case out of it. The only thing that I can say is sitting back and looking at other videos of cops doing stupid shit, whether it be to white people, black people. The only difference I see in most in these scenarios amongst black men is in certain cases these brothers find themselves dead or being beaten or something severe. And in certain cases it winds up with white people that they get beaten severely or get shot or whatever. But in more cases with black men, at least from what I've seen watching some videos today, more black men turn out dead behind stupid ass choices that police officers make. And what you have, like I said, are a group of incompetent fucking idiots that don't know what they're doing. And listen, I understand that there's a flip side to everything. But there's a point in time where you must use common sense. There's a point in time where you have to look at it and weigh it in on what kind of light are you putting yourself in. And critical thinking goes a long way. And apparently, just from numerous different things that I've seen and different cases that cops will try to make, many of them don't use critical thinking. I mean, just for instance, I look at a video earlier today where you had a black man, and if I can, I'll post that link in the description of this video. And I think it was a rapper of some sort that was in some state in a parking lot drinking iced tea, a can of Arizona iced tea, or half and half, or whatever it was. And this cop decided to now harass him. What is that you got in the can? Oh, you got alcohol? Let me see it. When the man showed him, this is the can. I don't got no alcohol. Oh, well, you know, you're trespassing, so I'm going to arrest you for that. And this is what you got going on. Stupid shit. Even though despite the fact that this idiot was being filmed right on camera. And the problem with you retarded ass police officers, and let me go ahead and say this, I'm not talking about all of y'all, but some of y'all are some bona fide fucking idiots. And the problem when I look at you buffoons, and when you waste time doing dumb shit like this and you don't even stop to think, wait a minute. Here I am about to arrest this man with no proper grounds. How does that make you look? Now let me bring it back to Eric Gardner. Because supposedly this man had broken up a fight. But the cops said, well, you know what, we're going to arrest you for selling single cigarettes. This is the cops now. I mean, you got to put shit into perspective and wonder at what point in time do you start to make sense out of what you're doing. Now you got a whole bunch of people here watching your stupid asses. And here you find yourself now getting ready to arrest a man and what you say selling single cigarettes. Now there's no proof of whether he did it or didn't do it, so I don't know. But the man said he didn't, and they said, well, we saw you do it. But now, mind you, he just got finished doing the job that you as police officers were supposed to be doing. Would it be wise to now arrest him for selling, even if he did sell a single cigarette, would it be wise to take it to that extent where you're going to have to now wrestle this guy down to the ground and everyone's seeing you immediately afterward? I mean, how does that make you look? And I mean, this is what I'm talking about when it comes down to dumbass fucking people. And this is one thing that I fear about this country. It's because you have too many stupid ass people. It don't matter whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian. If you're a stupid ass, you're a fucking stupid ass. And many of these cops that are on the job are stupid asses. And the problem is you have too many dumbasses in these positions of power that don't know what they're fucking doing. Y'all don't even have the slightest clue what you're doing. If you're that fucking stupid, you have no business holding a badge, let alone a goddamn gun. Nobody should have ever put your monkey ass in a position where you can serve and protect people. Because, I mean, think about it. Out of all the crimes that you have going on, serious crimes, you're after somebody for selling a single cigarette. How stupid does that sound? So a man's life comes to an end because your stupid white ass, or whatever they were, decides to now go ahead and arrest somebody for selling a single cigarette. You see, at some point in time, we got to start making sense out of this. And this is one reason why I see why many people don't like cops. And I know people personally who are cops, and they don't like cops. And honestly, when it comes down to cops, they'll say things to me like this. Well, you got to understand our position. You know, it's difficult if you're trying to get somebody to put their hands behind their back so you can put the cuffs on them and they're resisting. I get that. I get it. I mean, in certain cases, I had a cop that told me, well, you know, you can have a woman that you're trying to arrest. And if she don't want to put her hands behind her back, it can be very difficult even if you have two big men trying to arrest her. I get it. There's always a flip side to everything. But now, on another note, when it comes down to this, when you go to apply for a city job or apply for the police academy or however you go about doing it, whether it be online or going to a precinct, whatever the case is, and you fill out an application or hand in a resume or send in an online resume, guess what? You signed up for a job application. When you decide to go to the police academy and the police training school, guess what? You were the one with the training. You knew what the job would entail before you got into it. It's just like me, for instance. If I got to go into somebody's home and I got to install a radiator or change a cutoff valve, in certain cases I know that these radiators, if you look at the ones I've displayed in videos I did in the past, those radiators can average at about 160 to several hundred pounds depending on how big it is. So if I got to go in somebody's home and do a repair job on one, replace a cutoff valve, or completely replace or remove one, man, it's tough. It's hard, and you don't understand because, you know, I got to move this big 200 to 300 pound radiator and install it in this apartment. But at the end of the day, I knew what I was getting myself into when I signed up for the job. It's like if I go underneath somebody's bathroom sink, and I got broad shoulders, so it damn sure ain't easy for me to fit underneath these bathroom sinks, especially when you got these narrow little cabinets. But now, because I have a difficult time fitting underneath there, it doesn't give me the right to go in there and start destroying shit. How do I explain that to the resident of that home when they say, well, listen, Mr. Okwesi, why did you destroy my bathroom waste pipe? Well, you know, you don't understand how difficult it is for me because, you know, I got broad shoulders and I can't even get in there. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse because you're the one that went to a plumbing trade school. You're the one that applied and filled out a job application, filled out a resume, sat down and had an interview, and applied to get the position. So with that being said, you knew what the job would consist of before you applied for it. And granted, at times, I get it, it can be a little stressful, but you got to make proper judgment calls. And let me just say this much. When the first thing an officer proceeds to do is put their hands around your neck, I mean, first of all, I don't know no job where you can do this shit and get away with it. I know people that work in hospitals. In certain cases, they deal with mental patients that get physically violent, and they can't even do that shit. Because if you do that shit, you're losing your job, and more than likely, charges can be brought up against you. If you're a counselor at a school, at a high school, public high school, and you have big 17, 18-year-olds bigger than you, and they get physically violent, you couldn't slap that hold on one of them. You couldn't do it. You go to jail. So now, when I take a look at Eric Gardner's actions or his reaction, and I'm just going to say this much right now, any person with common sense in their head, they're not going to want to go to jail. So of course you can expect them to be apprehensive. What I'm going to say is he wasn't cooperating. He wasn't being violent, he just wasn't cooperating. And from the looks of it, they got him down on the ground within about 5 to 10 seconds. So all that unnecessary choking a man and after a man says after 7 fucking times that he can't breathe, and you as a dumbass still proceed to keep your hand on his neck and do all that dumb shit. I mean, something was off with that. If you're that stupid, you have no business wielding a badge, let alone a fucking gun. I mean, it just doesn't make no goddamn sense. And when you have idiots that are this goddamn stupid, I mean, at what point in time do we begin to question the behaviors of these police officers? Now, I know what it's like to be stopped randomly by police for no apparent reason. I mean, I had a situation back in 2006. I was dropping something off the mailbox late one night. And this had to be after 11 at night, 30 degrees outside, or below 30 degrees outside. And as I'm coming back home, I'm seeing in one of the neighboring buildings, at least 6 of these buffoons, 6 of these monkeys. And listen, let me say something right now. I'll call anybody a goddamn monkey. It don't matter whether you white, black, whatever. If you act like one, I'm gonna call you one. That's how it works with me. But you had 6 white monkeys in this building, looking obvious, just looking stupid. So as I walk past it, I'm like, okay, this shit look a little strange, but let me keep it moving. So all 6 of these assholes now decide to come out that building. And before they even identify who they are, 2 of them already got both hands in the air. I'm talking about my hands now. The other one's got my wallet in his hand as he's looking at my ID. And I'm like, okay, are you serious? Before you even identify who you are as a savage, you decide to come over here and pull that shit. Now, the thing is, if I'd have took a swing at one of them now, who knows where I'd have been to this day. But this is the shit you're dealing with when you're dealing with incompetent, negligent, stupid asses that don't know what they're fucking doing. So when you have these cops that say, well, you don't know how difficult it is for us, listen. I will side with you if you're following your job description correctly. But now, what is what is the actions that are taken once you break the rules and now somebody winds up dying in your custody behind you making poor judgment? I mean, in my opinion, I feel 10 years at a bare minimum, 10 to 15 years of you being in jail and never being able to have another badge again, or even work a city job for that matter. Because let me just say this much. And like I said before, if you were working any other job, if you were working in a psych ward and you put somebody in the chokehold, more than likely, well, you're going to lose your job. You can count on that. And then let alone, you more than likely will go to jail. Let's just say you happen to kill somebody accidentally. You're going to jail. Let's just say you're in a situation where you're defending yourself. You know, you're outside one night or one day. Some ruthless savage just comes up to you and starts trying to beat you into oblivion. And you cock back and you hit him in the face one time and they fall and crack their skull on that curb and they die right on the spot. Or they die sometime later. More than likely, they'll probably try to slap you with involuntary manslaughter. More than likely, you're going to jail. You can probably rest assured on that, even though you were defending yourself. But this is just how fucked up these laws are. So my question now is, at what point in time do these laws, or do cops suffer the same consequences behind them breaking these laws? Because these are the same buffoons, the same morons that are supposed to serve and protect. And let me just keep it honest. A lot of people that become cops, and this is another reason why certain cops don't like cops. Because a lot of these people that become cops, they do it because, or for the purpose of, well, they were picked on when they were younger. They never had any type of power, and now this is the only way that they can go about achieving that. This is why you find them doing dumbass shit, trying to arrest you for no apparent reason, putting people in direct danger behind some of their stupid ass actions. And like I said, once again, I understand that there's a flip side to everything. So when it comes down to a cop having a difficult situation or somebody that needs to be arrested, okay, I understand. But the first thing and we talk about putting a chokehold on a man. Now, if Eric Gardner had swung on these cops, was getting physically violent with these cops, and they felt the need to do that, that's a little different. Now, the story takes a different turn. But the most this man did was back away and say, don't touch me, and put his hands in the air. So from that alone, the first thing you proceed to do is throw this man in the chokehold, and even after 7 times him saying, I can't breathe, you still do nothing. With at least 7 to 8 police officers out there, from what I counted alone, you don't see that as a problem. Nobody there says, release the hold, give this man some air. And just to once again demonstrate the lack of competence and how incompetent these fools are. Because even after this man was dead, and was laid out on the ground. And I looked at some footage that took place afterward, and he was laying there dead. You would figure that they would have gotten a CPR kit, or tried to get a respirator kit, or done something. They're sitting there, come on, buddy, get up, stop playing, come on, buddy, we're gonna help you. Y'all are the same stupid asses that led to his death in the first place. So this just shows you how fucked up and how stupid these cops are. The next thing, once the EMS gets on the scene, the first thing they think is like it's some sort of big fucking joke. Come on, buddy, get up. Come on, we're here to help you. What the fuck? I mean, the man is not responding. Shouldn't the first thing be, let me get a respirator kit and try to or perform CPR or something? I mean, this is just how stupid people are in this fucking country. And there's a reason why I say when it comes down to you being a cop, you gotta pick and choose your battles wisely. Because if you decide to arrest somebody over some petty shit and something like this goes on, where does this put the trust of your police department? If your chief decides to defend your dumb ass for choosing to arrest somebody for selling a single cigarette. Meanwhile, you have real crimes that are being committed that you ain't nowhere in sight to be found when this shit goes on. But you out here trying to arrest somebody or trying to pin them on some stupid shit. Where does that put the trust of your chief, your police department, your city? How can anybody look at you and say, well, we can trust you to do a good job? I mean, once again, this demonstrates just how fucked up and how stupid these cops are. They don't know what they're fucking doing. They have no business holding the goddamn badge. You just got stupid ass after stupid ass in positions of power, and they fail to realize behind you being in power is leading to shit like this happening. Somebody selling a single cigarette shouldn't equal to a man to that man dying. I'm sorry. That's fucking stupid. And like I said before, I'm one of the harshest critics of black people. I will continue to criticize black people, but there's a point with this shit here, nah, not for one goddamn second. And when I look at actions like this, unfortunately, you have too many situations where it boils down to cops getting away with doing dumb shit. I mean, let's just take it back to Amadou Diallo back in 2000 or 1999, whenever it was, when they shot this man 41 fucking times in the hallway of his building. It just shows you how stupid they are, and this is what they do whenever this shit happens. Because they'll sit in the courtroom and they play the victim. Their lives were the one that were in danger now. I want you to remember that. They're going to tell you this. You know, our lives are in danger. We don't know. This is what they'll tell you. Even though clearly the man had no gun. He pulled out his wallet. And let's just say, 41 times, that's very excessive. If you were to say that you had, 4 officers in that hallway, and each one of them would have fired 2 times, 2 shots per gun, you would have had 16 shots. I don't know how many cops were in the hallway when this took place, but here you got guys that are in fear for their lives with protective vests on, shields, all kinds of automatic weapons and rifles, but they're the ones that are in danger. I mean, nothing about this shit makes any goddamn sense. This shows you that you're dealing with cops who, I'm going to stick with incompetence, because I believe that many of them simply don't know what the fuck they're doing. Just like the idiots that stopped me a couple years back trying to question me. And meanwhile, here I am with an ID, and if you knew what you were doing, the same buffoons that stopped me. If they knew that, and this is what they were accused of, oh man, we're looking for crack dealers. We're looking for guys selling crack. Be easy on us. Take it easy. We're just trying to do our job. No. Because if you had simply stopped me and asked me for some ID, all right, I'd have showed you that without a problem. Then I would have asked you why you stopped me. But when you decided to run up on me and 2 of y'all got out my ID, 2 of y'all got my hands in the air before you even identified to put out a fucking badge, there's a problem with that. There's a serious problem. And this is essentially what we're dealing with. Stupid ass cops that don't know what they're doing. And if you're looking for crack dealers, well, if you were observing the area, first of all, you would know that I'm not a crack dealer. So it becomes difficult, and you got to start questioning, how does you going to arrest somebody for selling a single cigarette, no weapons on them, no guns, nothing? And this is what some people were saying, well, he has an arrest record of over 30-something times for selling single cigarettes or a handful of weed. And that right there makes him a suspect. Oh, hold on a second. That's not a good comparison. Because when you say stuff like that, I mean, most people in America smoke weed. I don't touch that shit. But many of y'all like this shit. As a matter of fact, for anybody to sit back and say this, the minute President Barack Obama got into office the first term, that was one of the first things Americans were trying to get him to legalize. What do you think about weed, Mr. President? This is what they were doing. So when I listen to people make this as an excuse and say, well, you know what? That puts him on a category of being, he's a criminal and he's selling drugs in the black community. Now, I don't know whether he was a drug dealer or not. I don't know his situation prior to what took place a couple of days ago. So I can't speak on it. But what I'm saying is this right here. And I'm going to say this in addition. If this man were a real criminal, because we all know that they got the 3-strike law for committing serious crimes, and that's it, you're in jail for 25 to life or whatever it is. But the fact that this man has been arrested over 30-something times, it obviously means or should display that he's been arrested for petty crimes. So they can't really slap him with anything that's going to really stick. So no, I can't say that gives him or stigmatizes him will be, well, you know what, we know he's pumping drugs in the community. Because if that was the case, they should have him in jail for years. And as a matter of fact, being arrested over 30-something times doing that shit, you probably shouldn't see the light of day ever again. My issue is this. I try to look at everything from a fair perspective. But it really becomes difficult to trust police officers, and I know people who are cops. And they have told me, I don't like fucking cops. As a matter of fact, I know what it's like to be driving in a car with 3 police officers off duty and to be pulled over by cops because we're 4 men driving while black. The one thing that I must say that I did love about those situations is the shocked look on their faces when they realized there was 3 other cops in that fucking car, or 3 cops in that car. That was classic, but I mean, that's beside the point. I understand that officers have it tough to a degree, and when it comes down to decent police officers, yes, you don't want to see or know of any harm coming to them, and it shouldn't come to them. They should be able to do their job, or whatever the case may be. But seeing case after case after case where cops are doing reckless shit, where they're completely incompetent, it leaves you to wonder, and it leaves me to feel this way. Because in certain situations, you have cops getting the shit kicked out of them. Now, just as of what I've seen, if I don't know this cop and I happen to be in a situation where I see a cop getting his ass whooped, I'm not helping him. Sorry, I'm not doing it. If I don't know you personally, if I don't genuinely feel deep down inside you're a good police officer and you're trying to do the right thing, and I see you getting the shit kicked out of you, I will not lift a finger off my ass to help you. I will not lift a finger off my ass to pick up a phone and dial 911. As a matter of fact, if I happen to be there seeing that shit going on, if I'm there on foot, I'm running the hell out of there. If I got a skateboard, I'm skating the hell out of there. If I got a bike with me, I'm going to bike it the hell out of there. If I got my car with me, I'm going to get in that 6-cylinder bitch and I'm going to haul ass the fuck up out of there. Because when you look at all this shit go on, and unfortunately these guys, they might lose their jobs, or if that even comes about, but more than likely they're probably serving no time. Because we all know it's a system where they look out for one another, and it's a bunch of damn bullshit. And if this is what we're looking at when it comes down to the protection of people, then I got to deeply question that system. It's time that somebody looks into that system and rectifies the injustices, meaning that you have to set standards when it comes down to these cops doing their fucking job. And if you're not making proper choices as a police officer, then you have no business holding a badge, let alone a fucking gun. And that's all I pretty much got to say about that. But then again, if you watched this channel before, you realize this channel is in the defense of those who think logic and those who make sense.